Hi, welcome to Tuesday's edition of the second week of creating Donkey Kong from scratch. And this is now the third time I've made this video. It's a lot more complicated than I thought it was, but I found the maths that will make it work, which is great. So let's get started straight away. So far we've got Mario to move left and right, and we can see that he can move up and down the little parts that he needs to, which is great. But what he can't do is jump. Now, Clickteam, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, decided to use Shift as the button to jump. But notice if you press it 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get this alert that comes up with sticky keys and whatnot. So the better button to press is space. So we're going to let space be the button that we choose to have Jumpman jump, right? And without jumping, he's just going to be man. So we are going to create the Jumpman, jump. Now, we're going to go to our movement object, and we're going to need 2 variables. The first one is just going to be a jump counter. And that's just simply going to start at 100 and go to 0 every time Jumpman jumps. The next one is the actual Y coordinate that Jumpman will be. And so when you press spacebar, we are just going to launch the jump counter straight to 100. And then every time, or every split second, every 100th of a second, that counter is greater than 0. We're going to subtract 1 from the counter. And at the moment, and only at the moment, we're going to always set the jump Y to that jump counter. And this is just as we're testing it, really. What we play? Jump Y, jump counter. Let's run it. Let's see how that goes. So I'm going to press space, and we can see a kind of jump. Now, first thing we notice is that he jumps straight up to the top, because this is a kind of linear thing. So it jumps straight to 100 and then counts down. Second thing we notice is that when he moves left, he's actually tracking the platform when he's in the air, which is really great. So he's jumped too high and for too long. So I would probably want, instead of 100, probably want that to be 50. And so he's jumping. Oh, that's better. So he's jumping, but it's not high enough to reach the next platform there. Next, I'm going to not like the fact that you can keep pressing jump. So what we want to do is we want to say when it's spacebar, if it's equal to 0. So you can't jump twice. So I'm keep pressing jump, but he's only jumping when he reaches the bottom. Brilliant. So let's do a bit of theory about what's going on here. And any excuse to draw a graph, I'm there. So what's going on is that we are starting at 100, the counter. So the bottom axis is the counter. And then the y-axis is the jump. And so it's not starting at 100, is it? Because we've changed that to 50. So there's a mistake straight away. So that's going to be 50. And the jump goes up to 50. And what's happening is the jump starts at 50 and goes down. In fact, let's do a different color. So it starts at 50 and goes down to 0, right? What we want, and let's start a new thing. What we want it to do is more quadratic based. So we want it to be like that. Okay. So the first thing we notice though with this is that we've kind of got a bit of an awkward situation going on here. We're starting at 50 and we're going to 0. Let's pretend we're starting at 0 and going to 50, and we can do that just by taking away 50 from it. Now, we know 3 coordinates. We know the 0, 0. We know this coordinate, which will be 25, 50. and we know this coordinate here, which will be 50, 0. Now, I could run through the maths of graphic transformations to work out what this equation is, but there's actually a much easier way, because we can just go to a website like this that will allow you to put in the coordinates of the quadratic you want, and it will tell you what the equation is. How easy is that? So 0, 0, 25, was it, do we say 25, 50? I think it was 25, 25. Honestly, this is 20, well no, we want it to be 50, yeah, that's good, okay. So 25, 50, and then 50, 0. Those are the three coordinates we talked about. Calculate, bam. Tells us exactly what the equation will be for this curve. How easy is that, eh? So, go back to Clickteam. And at the moment, we've just got it mirroring the movement data. Now, the problem is the movement data isn't Rx yet, because what we want to do is we need to take 50 away from it. There we go. And now that's our X. So we're going to have, so we've got minus 0.08 times x squared plus 4x. So let's focus on the x squared first. So x squared, we're going to cut that, and we're going to use the square function, paste it in. And was it plus 4x plus 4 times paste? And let's go back and let's check. And it's minus 0.08 times x squared. So we'll go back to that. So it's minus 0.08 times x squared. Now, do I feel that's likely to have worked? No. So what I might do is copy that. I might use my debug counter and replace this for an always event. And that debug counter is going to keep track of what that jump thing is. Now, probably what's going to happen is Mario's going to be hovering above thin air, like that, because that counter's currently at 199. Let's press space anyway. So it's actually working the wrong way. Now, that's interesting because we've talked about this before, the fact that the coordinates are the wrong way round on a computer. So we actually just need to get rid of that negative, and probably we'd have to change that to a minus as well, would we? I believe, because we'd have to times the whole thing by a negative. I believe. That's gone the wrong way. Okay, I think that's right. Let's change that back to a plus and let's see what happens. This is where trial and improvement comes from. Oops. Wow, this is why testing's important. So it's 200, and then when you press space, it's going the wrong way. Right, I'm going to pause this and try and fix it. Okay, what's really funny is this is not the first time this has happened. I've thought SQR is square, it's square root, obviously. To square something, you just need to times it by itself, which is really irritating. I don't know why there isn't an actual square button, but there we go. Whatever. Okay, let's see whether that works. So it's 0 at the start, which is good. And it's going the wrong way. Arg. So we were right with what we did. So when you fix something and you actually break something whilst you fix it, that's why you need to keep track of everything you've done to try and fix it. How cool is that? So let's compare that to the actual thing. And we could probably time this if we wanted to be perfect, but it feels about right. So that's the original. We don't get the cool graphics on mine, but I mean, I've got to say, I'm pretty proud of that. So it might be pretty scary using quadratics to work out movement, but I mean, that's all jumps are. Jumps are just a upside down quadratic curve. That's all they are. And so we've got platforming, so we can now move across left and right. And at the moment we're stuck to that platform, but we've seen how easy it is to just update that code for the next platform because we've already done the equations for it. So we've got that sorted, which is great. I don't think we can move off the edges. I have no idea how we're going to program that, if we're ever going to. But next episode, we're going to look at ladders. So how are we going to move up the ladders with our new movement system? So thank you very much. If you like this video, click like. If you want to see more from us, click subscribe. Keep the comments coming in. Thank you very much.